So an entrepreneur is aiming to raise £10,000. He's more than an entrepreneur to send 10 people to the Economic Forum in Davos, hoping to give a voice to those experiencing homelessness.
Yes, so Marco Robinson will be sleeping rough for 5 days and 4 nights as part of the Great Sleepout campaign. He'll then use the money to travel with a group of homeless people and entrepreneurs and businessmen to make sure the world's super elite at Davos face up to this important issue.
Marco, good morning. I believe you are joining us now from Manchester, the greatest city in the world. Good to see you. Now, people might be going, oh, it's him! Because, of course, you at the moment are starring in and have produced Legacy of Lies, the second highest movie on Netflix at the moment. So, first of all, congratulations on that. And people would go, well, Marco's loaded. He's one of the elites. He's a rich man. He lives a wonderful life. So why are you doing this to raise awareness of homelessness?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me on. I'm doing this because I used to be homeless myself at the age of 2 with my mum on and off for many years, and I was also homeless as a teenager. And because I experienced homelessness myself and the tragedy of what it is, and basically that, many lives are lost during homelessness and many suicides and, of course, lots of other bad things. Homelessness is very misunderstood. Lots of people think homelessness is just about drug abusers and mental health problems, but that's actually the minority. Most homeless people just cannot afford to pay the rent. And because you've got a massive cost of living crisis right now, where people are basically one paycheck away from losing their house, many people are facing homelessness in real times right now. In these times, with all our resources, there are still billions of people living in inadequate accommodation.
Can I just ask you, Marco, how you became homeless? How your mum with a 2-year-old found herself in that situation, and then you again as a teenager? Because I always think it's interesting to hear people's stories.
So when I was 2 years old, my mum left my dad. She was 23. He was a gambling addict. She had no choice. She had no money left. She went to live with a mum and a stepdad in the north of England. And on the doorstep, her stepdad said it's either me or them to her mum. And her mum said, you cannot stay here. So my mum took me to the park and we lived there. Now, the reason that her stepdad said that is because he sexually abused her since she was 4 years old under the patriarch. And when she was 12, he put his hand on her breast and said, I didn't marry your mum for your mum, I married your mum to get to you. She was terrified, but she had to make shelter for me and her during that time. She couldn't live there, and she was terrified even to go back to that particular environment. Does that make sense?
It does make a lot of sense. And then you as a teenager, you found yourself in a similar situation.
Yeah, when I was 15, I left school without any qualifications, and my mum met the man of her dreams, who she's still with. There's a happy ending to this, but I said to her, you go out and live your life, do what you want to do, and I will look after myself. And I went around all the shops in the town and asked them if I could clean their floors for £1 an hour. Some of them said no, but some of them said yes. And what I used to do is I got the keys to the shop, and I lived either in the loft or under the floor in the cellar, so no one could actually see me. And I was one of what we know as the hidden homeless, of which there are millions of people doing exactly the same thing.
Interesting.
OK, Marco, now turning to the topic of the Great Sleepout and your chosen target of Davos, the World Economic Forum, of course. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, that's easy for them to say. They basically are staying in £1,000 a night hotels. It's a jolly for the super rich on their private jets. I'm assuming that's why you're targeting the super elite at Davos.
Yes, actually, the hotels are £3,000 a night, not £1,000 a night. But actually, there are actually some really good people in WEF that are actually helping the homeless. And we want to bring awareness to people at this conference that homelessness is at epidemic proportions. And the divide is not a chasm, it's another universe, right? They're living in one universe and homeless people living in the other universe. But, people that are homeless now are people that got good jobs. And actually, there are 3 months away in savings from losing their homes. If they miss one payment on their credit, they get blacklisted for 6 years. So we're sleeping rough for 5 days, 4 nights and up to -20 conditions at the WEF outside. We're going to be sharing that with the rest of the world and ask people to sleep out with us in the back garden, in the front garden, anywhere they can, to give a voice to the homeless people out there that don't presently have a voice. And we're going to go live and get everyone involved. We want to raise way more than £10,000 because every penny goes to our registered charities. We're fully registered, completely non-profit. We're paying our own way over there. And we have already helped thousands of people off the street. In fact, during COVID, we helped 52 families off the street that have never been homeless again because of that. So it's a great, great cause.
So who is going to be sleeping out in Davos? Are you literally going to be in a sleeping bag just near the entrance to the conference centres? I do hope so.
Well, actually, you're invited, Bev, because we need diversity. So you're very welcome to join us. So we have James Melville, who you probably know. We have Simon Milne, and we have a beautiful man called Andrew Funk, who is the head of Homeless Entrepreneur in Barcelona, which is a registered foundation in Spain, a CSR program where we get people off the streets in Spain and rehouse and re-educate them.
OK, Marco, if people want to help pump some money into your fundraiser, how do they get involved?
Go to the Twitter account of @GreatSleepout, @GreatSleepout. The donation link is there. It's a Just Giving link. You get 25% gift aid, completely tax deductible. Just give what you can, get involved and join us and build a community of people that want to fight this so we end it permanently.
And I've got until January to come up with my excuses as to why I'm not joining you then.
Well, actually, we have a great homeless sleep out day on October the 10th because it's World Homelessness Day. On October the 10th, we're sleeping out in London, Bev. And you, would you like to join us?
I bet I can't get a day off work. They're very strict here,
You can. I've arranged with your boss. It's OK. He'll let you have a few days of work to join us. It's OK.
We will always support you, Marco. Absolutely. Great to see you. Marco Robinson there. Well, October the 10th, is that? I don't know what day of the week it is. If it's a weekend, maybe. Maybe we should. We should. Right, we're joined now by Mike Parry and Bushra Sheikh this morning, both of you. First of all, let me ask you, Mike, what do you reckon to that initiative? It's quite a nice way of raising awareness.
Of course it is, and you shouldn't put anybody down who's trying to raise the awareness of homelessness, but celebrity homelessness is very different to being out on the street. It's the sheer despair of knowing that when the light comes up in the morning, you've got nowhere to go. You are not going to have a shower. You may not be able to go into a cafe and get some breakfast. That's what it's all about. So, I do admire them raising money, but it really is celebrity homelessness. Once you get out sleeping bag, you're going to go back into £1,000 a night suite and you're very comfortable.
I agree with that, Bushra, but, if you get like a lovey sleeping out for one night and straight back to the Hilton, that's different. But Marco has lived this life. He's trod in those shoes. He understands more than most the challenges faced. And, I like the idea of the juxtaposition with the kind of lobster thermidor brigade, the all expenses paid Davos bunch, and this. It'll be, and they can't ignore that.
Aren't they just easing their consciences?
Absolutely. Bushra.
Mike, it's important because, people come from a background with that experience. They truly have it in their heart. So I think this is a brilliant initiative because the class divide across the globe is ridiculous. We just have the super duper rich, and we've got people that are living on the street, which shouldn't be happening, especially not in first world countries, which even in Great Britain we do have. So if people can get involved, absolutely.
And I have no problem with people making plenty of money. I have no problem with people working really, really hard and getting rich. But what we're seeing at the moment is there is apparently no trickle down. The generation of wealth is staying in the hands of fewer and fewer people, it feels, and normal, ordinary working people are not benefiting.
And we can find £7 million a day to house asylum seekers, but we don't take care of our own homeless. I digress.